the stuff on your mind is feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Air and Air Out. It's episode 4. We're still continuing it. We're still making it happen. And now we're a month old. That's incredible. Never have I ever thought I'd make a 4-week podcast. It's an extraordinary feat. I think most people quit after like 2 episodes when they don't get any viewers. And I've stuck with it for 4 weeks with the declining viewership. So give it up. Thank you. We did it. Those claps are very loud. But now that we're a month in, we're going to change things up. Try something new this week. There is absolutely no topic. Nothing specific I want to talk about. I'm coming in here with no notes, no script, no nothing. It's just all going to be kind of a stream of consciousness. Try and just talk and follow my own tangents. See what happens. See what comes up. See if it's spontaneous and silly and smart and witty. Just if I can create some magic and not have to think so much about doing this podcast. Because I think the thinking part is what really throws me off. It's feeling like I have to fit everything into this topic. And I have these certain things I want to squeeze in this topic. And I want to make it entertaining still, but I don't want to make it boring. Of course, I want to make it entertaining, not boring. That's kind of a given. But I get too caught up in the topic itself that I feel like it loses the organic nature of itself. And I end up repeating myself because I want to get points across. So we're not going to do that this week. This week is going to be purely me talking to me, actually. Me talking to me. That's another aspect. I feel like I've been making these knowing that I'm recording it for an audience. And in that aspect, it's kind of like putting another pressure on me that I'm trying to appeal to you rather than I feel like if I just make something that I'd want to listen to, then it would appeal to more people. It'd be more natural of who I am and what I'd want to get out of a podcast. Because I don't think I would have listened to the first couple episodes I put out. I guess, well, I didn't listen to myself talk because I guess I already know all the stories. Yeah, maybe I guess if I was friends with someone who was doing a podcast, I probably would listen to it. But now I need someone else to start a podcast so I can verify that. So if someone else could start a podcast, please, just so I know that I would listen to it. And then I can copy things from your podcast and put them into my podcast. That would be excellent. So no formal introduction to this one. I guess this is the formal introduction. Hello and welcome. Did I already say that at the beginning? I don't know. This is off the cuff. Let's take a moment to reflect on the past month. This has been the first month of my quotation, new life, start of a new life, chapter 2, whatever you want to call it. Leaving the old world, beginning anew. And so far, looking at where I am proud of myself. There are things I could improve upon, but as I learned in therapy, you got to remember where you came from and not always just look at your flaws, look at what you've succeeded in as well. I think people struggle in that, giving themselves a pat on the back, look in the mirror and saying, hey, you're doing great, kid. And I'm going to do that today. I've done a great start, I think. I would give myself a B on this first month of the new life. I have routinely put out a podcast, which was one of my goals to start. I've done that every week, haven't missed a week. I did shift from doing it on Wednesdays to Thursdays. That's minor change because I guess I didn't have a schedule first week. So that was the one that was wrong. Every other week has been correct. I have now started the YouTube channel and have been putting up regular content on there as well. So that's 2 pieces of content I'm putting out every week. I have been maintaining my health. I have not spent my money on junk food and fast food that I thought I might because it's so easy to fall into that trap. I think I went grocery shopping week 2, spent $150, and I've still got like tons of leftover groceries. I got rice and onions and canned chickpeas and beans and pasta sauce and loads. My freezer's just full of frozen veggies. So I've still got like food for probably 2 weeks. So that's been great. Cooking all my meals has helped me maintain my weight, and I feel like it also maintains your mental health as well. There's a lot of stuff I guess they put into those fast foods that are scientifically made to taste good, but not necessarily scientifically made to make you feel good. I think we've all been there. You have a nice muck from McDonald's, and then 15 minutes later, it's just regret. You're like, oh, why would I do that to myself? And then the next day, you're just craving that cheeseburger once again. And we've been good at not doing that to ourselves. we've also been doing our walks every single day, looking at my Fitbit stats. The only 2 days I didn't get my 10,000 steps were September 2nd and 3rd, which were my moving days, so I kind of give myself a little leeway there. I was pretty busy doing other stuff. But every other day I've hit 10,000 plus steps, so I think I made up for those 2 days I didn't do it. And I've been routinely going to the gym 4 times a week for the past 3 weeks now. And I've done yoga with Ethan every morning that we've both been here. There was the weekend I went home, so we didn't get it done. But other than that, we've been up at 8 o'clock on weekdays to get yoga done. And we've been up at 11 o'clock on weekends to do yoga once again, following Yoga with Adrian's schedule. Come Friday, we're switching from the September schedule. We're like a week behind on it, so we never got to finish it. But come October 1st, we'll be able to do the entire month of October. If you want a little challenge for yourself and a great way to start your day, still, I recommend Yoga with Adrian in the morning. It's a great way to start your day. Great exercise. A great alarm clock. It forces us to get up and do something. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for some kind of change in your routine, adding some physical activity, some mental activity as well to your schedule. Check out Yoga with Adrian. October schedule starting on Friday. I like I'm plugging Adrian, who has 10 million subscribers, on my podcast that's going to get 15 listeners. You're welcome, Adrian. Building your Canadian viewership 15 people at a time. Now that we've looked at what I have accomplished, let's look at what I still want to get finished. What I still told myself I would do, but I haven't done yet. Number one, the reason I pretty much told everyone I was leaving my job was because I wanted to pursue comedy. Stand-up comedy, which, I mean, comedy doesn't necessarily have to be stand-up. It could be YouTube videos, it could be in this podcast, it could be TikToks. But stand-up comedy was something that when I started my job at RJ Burnside 2 years ago now, in January, come February, I was like, man, I'd love to do stand-up. Watching documentaries on stand-up, looking at the lifestyle of it, listening to podcasts of people talking about stand-up and the hardships of it, I was like, man, that is something I really want to try. That is something that just entices me to my core. As I've said, I like the aspect of public speaking. I enjoy being on stage where I get to be the commander of the audience. I get to talk to the crowd. And I feel like I have creative ideas that maybe other people aren't thinking of, ways of thinking of things that are humorous, that I could add something and make people laugh on stage. But getting to that step of actually stepping on the stage has been a major barrier. I said early on that it's difficult to find open mics, and it's even more difficult when you don't look for them. Incredibly difficult. They're not just popping up in my backyard, or just, I'm not finding a flyer on the street on my walks. Say, hey, open mic, anyone can come. I think it does actually take a good amount of work, and I'm not putting that in for myself. I'm not going out there and searching for it. So that's something I need to do. I told myself my New Year's resolution was that by the end of the year, just to get on stage. I don't have to do well. I don't have to do it multiple times. Just one time, I want to get on stage for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the sets they have are, and just do it and know I did it. And that's it. The success of that does not come from how the performance goes. It comes from the mere aspect of doing the performance. So that's something I'm going to have to really focus on come October. Maybe, I guess I was going to look at it on Friday. Friday is October. Crazy. Another thing I wanted to work on was filming sketches and that in the same line of comedy. I've found that it's way easier, for me at least, to just be honest and talk about things and talk about myself than it is to actually create entertainment things and create comedic things. Actually putting in artistic methods into it. It's, I guess, because it is an extra barrier to work. But there's also this, I feel like there's this extra criticism to say, hey, I worked on this and created this, and I think this is really good. Here, now you look at it and tell me if you think it's really good. Whereas me just talking about myself and telling the truth, there's not really a lot of room for judgment. I don't care what people are saying about this kind of stuff because I know it's all true and real. I know everything I'm saying on here is authentic, and it's who I am, and it's what I feel. So, whatever other people think, it doesn't really matter. But whereas art and comedy is so subjective, it's hard because I feel like there is some kind of room for it to go wrong, and where I could feel oh, this is really funny, and then I give it out to people, and then it's just not at all. Maybe I thought it was and I was wrong, or maybe the way I presented it was wrong. But that just comes down to a matter of, I know it's going to be bad. Just I know the first time I get on stage and do stand-up, it's going to be bad. and I'm gonna bomb. And I keep telling myself I'm okay with that, yet there's this other part of me that's not starting the race, so I can't fail the race. Which is weird. I'm very counterproductive in my own mind at this point. Whereas I tell myself how okay it is to go on and not do well, but then there's part of me that still says, hey, don't go up there and don't do well. Just don't do it. So I need this first voice to be louder and to overwhelm this other nagging voice that says, stay in your comfort zone. Don't do anything bad. Just watch YouTube on your phone in bed. Just make podcasts and talk about your feelings. Which, I mean, I feel like for other people, you look at like YouTubers and TikTokers, and they're the opposite, I feel like. I mean, not all of them. There's some really good ones that are honest and open and also very comedic. But then there's the other ones where this is kind of what I've been thinking about this week. Whereas the way I kind of see YouTube and this online space is you can either go out there and just kind of follow what everyone else is doing and do things you know will appeal to like an audience that's already established out there. And you can probably find some pretty quick, gain some quick momentum there, just doing things that have been proven and things will work. Like TikTok is all just following trends, I feel like, and just doing dances. And I mean, that's great if that's your thing. And if you just want to get fame and, that's how you want to, fame and money, if that's what you're going for, kudos. Go for that. I'm more of the other side that I think is when you go out and you do what you want to make. You put out things that are true to you and you follow your own, what you would enjoy making. And that's probably not going to click with people immediately. It's going to take time for you to kind of find your own voice and work things out. And you got to, put out bad material that then you can, re-edit it, rehammer it, rewrite it, and improve it over weeks. And then over weeks and months, you'll start to like produce this content that's much more of you and who you are. And then that's when you'll start to gain a followership and gain people who are like, oh, okay, you know what? I relate to this guy. I enjoy what he's doing. I'm going to follow him and see what comes from it. So it's like this more delayed gratification where you got to take work and more pride in what you're doing rather than I feel like, I could just follow some TikTok trends or follow, look at what is trending on YouTube and trying to recreate that and not so much focus on the authenticity that I want to produce and that I want people to like know who I am and understand who I am just by looking at my work. Maybe this is just an excuse I'm making. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I am better than all these TikTokers and popular YouTubers. Maybe that is. Maybe that's my ego talking to me and trying to protect me. Totally could be. But that's the way I've been seeing it. So I want to create things that are true to me and not just general pop music, basic lyrics, fun tunes, and just plow it out. I'd rather make like some artistic things. That makes sense. I hope that makes sense. A little side note, I have switched up my chair. I just ran down to the kitchen before recording this. Grabbed the kitchen chair so I can move around, no squeaking. It's a solid, sturdy piece of wood, and it's not going anywhere. So hopefully that's going to be less editing for me and less annoying for you. That was pretty good. That was 15 minutes. Just off the cuff, off the rip. But now we get to the part. I'm like, okay, that was 15 minutes. 45 more. What am I going to talk about for 45 more? I want to still use the musical interludes. Ethan put in a lot of work to them. I hope he did because they sound great. Maybe he's just that talented they can just throw them out. So I probably will sort of divide this, if I do take a break at like 20 minutes, then switch up to a new thought line once I finish this one. This is still kind of in the what do I want to do, future goals kind of thing, 1 month check-in. And then I think there's a second musical interlude that you guys haven't heard yet that will lead into the outro. Maybe not an outro, maybe another topic. Not a topic though, because we're not doing topics. Another mind wander. I already used wander for weekly wander. Weekly wander. I'm so bad at enunciation. I'm so bad at talking. My mouth just doesn't know how to do it. Thinking, I'm too good at it. Like I'm too used to just thinking things. I wish I could just translate the daydreams I have when I'm doing nothing, or like when I'm watching a movie and then I realize I haven't paid attention to the movie, that I've just been like daydreaming about having a conversation with Bert Kreischer on his podcast or something. I have so many conversations with people that I'm like, man, if someone ever says this very particular thing, I'm going to have a perfect response for it. Yet I could not tell you any of those perfect responses or the setups to them. I'm just having fake conversations with people in my head to amuse myself rather than doing what normal people do and have regular conversations with people, which is a difficult thing. Oh, that was actually, look at that. My tangent looped all the way. What was I going to say? Looped. What was the R word I was trying to say? Rooted? Rebounded? I don't know how I got rooped out of that. Who knows? Looped all the way back to the initial topic was that the last thing I wanted to do was I wanted to make friends, which, as sad as that sounds, that was like, I've never been good at going out and making friends. I've always just kind of like had my current friends make friends, and then I just slowly like morph into their friend group and take them. Like I just absorb them as my own without actually like going out and meeting new people. I make other people meet the new people, bring them in, and then I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll take that one and that one and that one's my friends as well. Bring them in here. So I want to get better at going out and meeting strangers and just having conversations with strangers, getting to know new people. Dang, talking is tough. Dang, it feels good to air out. But it's tough. I have not talked to other people other than Ethan and Martin. I think the entire time I've been here, other than like cashiers or something, that doesn't really count. Like had a conversation with someone that's not my roommates. I have not had that. I haven't really gone out much. I think my day's routine is just yoga, workout, work, go for a walk, come home, eat, watch YouTube or watch a movie, read, go to bed, repeat for 5 days. Weekend, same thing but longer walk, no workout, and then kind of play some video games, talk to the boys on Discord. But no, I'm never going out anywhere to like face-to-face conversations. I did sign up for a fitness class at one of the Waterloo Rec Centers because I thought that would be a good way to like meet people my age. Like, oh yeah, I had this like fantasy of we all work out really hard together. We're sweating, we're at the end of class, we're all talking with our gym bags hanging off. Like, hey, you guys want to go grab a drink somewhere? Obviously for me, non-alcoholic. And then we go play some board games, hang out at Chad's house. I'm the goofball friend. Making everyone laugh. We're all having a good time. We like do weekend events and hang out. And that didn't happen at all. The fitness class, I'm the youngest by decades. I think most of them have grandchildren. All of them have children. So I'm kind of the young buck that just goes in and does his workout and then heads out. It's a small class too, like 7 people. So it's not what I expected, but it's still a good workout. I'm still going to stick with it through to, I guess it was 6 weeks. So I got 4 weeks left. Thursday nights. But I need to find new ways to meet some strangers, get some face-to-face time with new people. And it's tough, especially being sober, because I don't go to bars. I'm not going to go sit at a bar sipping Diet Cokes. Like, hey, you guys want to listen to my podcast? You guys want to air out? Come sit next to me. Let's air out. Maybe I should just start like driving Uber. And that's how I'll meet people. I just force them into my car and force them into conversations with me. They get in, and rather than set the radio on, I just start playing a podcast. Like, oh, who's this guy? Have you guys heard this podcast? Oh my god, it's great. I'm like, hey, that sounds a lot like you. No, man, no, wow. Thank you though, because he's got a great voice. Maybe that's the move I got to do. Forced friendship. Friendship by what would it be? Friendship. This is where my improv skills have to come in. This is why I need that improv class. If I told you about the improv class, I was going to sign up for an improv class. I should look to see if it's come back yet. I doubt it because COVID is still a thing. And that was the reason for not doing it. But there's an improv class in Uptown Waterloo from the Theater on the Edge. There's 3 levels, level 1, 2, and 3. Those are, if you wanted the 3 levels, there's level 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, it's shut down, so I couldn't do that. What was I going to say? Forced friendship? I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me later in this podcast. I'll just shout it out and then remember this point. Remember 20 minutes in when I was talking about making people listen to my podcast in an Uber. Put the child locks on so they can't get out. Take the long routes around. So you got to listen to the entire podcast. Like, we're going 3 blocks. Sorry, looks like you're going to Guelph. Yeah, it's quicker. Trust me, it's quicker if we go to Guelph first, then head to Kitchener. Musical interlude. I think this is where I'll put in musical interlude 2. I think the problem is the tongue and the lips just don't coordinate. Musical, and not the tongue, the lips. Tongue, the lips, and the teeth. Like, there's 3 components to moving your mouth and talking. Musical interlude 2. Not 2 though, 1. Musical interlude 1. I guess it doesn't matter which order I put them in. They're just musical interludes. That's a tough word though. I think it's an interlude. Because you do have to coordinate your tongue to touch the teeth. Musical interlude. Talking must be a skill. It must be a learned ability. Like it is just making sounds. And I know all the sounds I need to make. But then the coordination of, it's like vibrating your vocal cords. And then you move your tongue in a way that, what is the tongue doing in the situation? What, I guess it's like the power. The lips are power. Power. Cold shower, man power. That's what I was reciting in my shower today. I had to like psych myself up to talk. So I was running a cold shower after I worked out. And I was just in the shower going, cold shower, man power. Cold shower, man power. So I wanted to fire myself up because I knew I was just going to riff in this podcast and just see where it goes. And then I sat down and listened to some music to really fire myself up. And then I just hit record and here we are. But we were talking about talking. What are the teeth? The teeth are just there as a barrier for the tongue to bounce off of. Then the lips, it's all just different ways to make sounds. That's all talking is. And I'm not very good at that, it seems. I guess the only practice is to talk. But I can't just, this is like the only acceptable way to talk to myself. I guess I could like walk around with like a Bluetooth earpiece in and pretend I'm talking on the phone to someone to practice. But really just having a conversation with myself. I've also had like phlegm, constant phlegm, and my nose is just always stuffed up. I don't know if it's, words just aren't coming to me today. A effect of my allergies for like years that it's just, my nose is now just permanently stuffed up I'm at like 40% stuffage right now. Constantly. Every morning I wake up doing yoga, like breathing in and breathing out, like there's not a whole lot of room for air to get in and out of my nose. I don't know if you can hear that. I might cut that out, but maybe. Here, listen. That didn't look too loud. If there's any, what's a nosologist called? A nose doctor. Reed might know. Reed, you would know. You got your nose. You got a nose job. An interior nose job. You got your exhaust cleaned out. Your mufflers, your nostril mufflers. Maybe I should look into that. Maybe it is your septum. I don't know what a deviated septum is, so that's in your nose. Maybe my septums are a little too narrow. Or maybe it is just, I feel like there's just snot in there. Maybe it's just from years of picking my nose. It's like how you can't like clean out your earwax. It's just, I'm just shoving boogers back deeper into my nose. Now they're stuck there and they've like become part of me. I need to get someone like to go scrape it out. That could be, that's a popular thing on YouTube, getting nose cleanings and earwax cleanings. I don't know if people are into that like I am. I love seeing people pull up big globs of earwax. Dr. Pimple Popper too. Oh, those videos, there's just something so satisfying with seeing someone extract something from the human body. Something that like, just the way they look too, because they look so fleshy and like, gooey. And I also like the idea of like the relief the person must feel. Like imagine having a piece of earwax the size of a gum eraser coming out of your ear. Like the clarity you must feel after that, like your hearing must just go super HD and like, oh my god, I can hear. That's it. They can, like, I don't know how, it must have been muffled. Like, and then they get it pulled out and now it feels like this. Like that must be so satisfying. And then imagine the nose, because having a stuffed nose is the absolute worst. Like whenever I go to bed with my allergies and I'm just rolling side to side, just flipping which nostril is cleared, and then you eventually fall asleep and you wake up and whatever side you're on is just, it's like completely impacted. Like there's zero air getting through that, and you gotta lie on the other side for like 40 minutes till you finally feel the pressure release. It's like, oh my god. And that's like a minor form of it. That's just, I don't know what allergies are. My body's just like, hey, this ragweed's trying to kill you, but not if we get to you first. Close up his airways, quick. Make him cry. And then I just can't sleep at night. These are good tangents. I'm gonna throw in the musical interlude somewhere. You guys would have already heard it. I'm gonna put the second one first because I don't know how long people are gonna listen to this, and you haven't heard the second one yet. So musical interlude 2 already played, and then we're gonna play the other one, and then the outro song. You guys are gonna love this. Ethan just completely remixed the intro. All I do, like, I have the easiest job. I just got to record a little bit of audio and singing. My part takes like 2 minutes. Then Ethan just like hammers out this. It's like an actual legit song. So if you enjoyed the intro song, you're gonna really enjoy the outro song. I gotta figure out a way to like put them. I guess I can put them on Spotify. I only know how to do it as a podcast. I don't know if I'm allowed to just upload to Spotify as a person, as a man. So I feel like people, maybe I could put it on YouTube. I'll put them on YouTube, and then from there you can just download them to MP3 and throw them on your phone like the old school way. How we used to steal music when streaming music wasn't a thing. Remember LimeWire? That pain in the tush. Just every single song you download was a gamble. You're hoping like, okay, this one has a lot of downloads. It must be the actual song. But you never know until you actually play the MP3 after it's downloaded. I downloaded so much sketchy stuff. I don't even know what it was. LimeWire. I guess would that be? I never thought about it when I was young. Is that like a torrent? Would that be like a torrent site, or is torrenting a completely different thing? I don't know what LimeWire would be considered, but that was where everyone got music. I feel like it was because you had to buy songs on iTunes for 99 cents a song, which now is like a ripoff. I don't know anybody who would. Can you still buy music on iTunes for 99 cents? Is that still like their business model? Or are they all just reliant on Apple Music and then you buy albums on iTunes? But even buying albums, I feel like buying a digital album is completely useless when you can just stream it. I understand like buying a physical album. I've still got a bunch of CDs in my car. I don't listen to them, but usually like sometimes I feel like getting into just an album. And I've been more and more as I get older, I feel like listening to an entire album is more enjoyable, like the process of it, rather than just listening to singles and jumping between artists all the time. The second day we were in the house, Ethan played for us 91025 by I was going to say by Rush, but it was by Yes, which was their album where they went. It's more poppy, but it's still like their prog rock version of pop. An incredible album. I would definitely give it a listen. After this podcast, don't stop now. Listen to it after. Is this where? Oh, there's an excavator driving by. I wonder if you guys can hear this. I'm seeing some louder noise periods. They're really going to town. It's going to get worse, I think, when they actually start working right in front of our house. Right now, they're working like at the back of the property, but the only way in and out of our little, I guess our subdivision, not even it'll be a subdivision, our conglomerate of houses. Shout out to conglomerates. There's only one route in right now. The other entrance has been torn up to lay some pipe. So every dump truck, every piece of heavy machinery has to drive in and out from my house. Every car, everything, every vehicle you could imagine has to enter from right in front of our house. And my room is right at the front of the house, so I hear everything. So hopefully it's not picking up too much. I have learned how to control some noise in this, but isolating like a truck going by or isolating those external noises, I don't really know how to do that yet. I've a very basic understanding of Audacity, which is what I used to record. So hopefully you can't hear that. I mean, I didn't know how to fix my chair thing, so I just got a new chair. That was my, I guess the simplest solution is the best solution usually. What is that? Mayroon's razor? Is that the philosophy term? Usually the simplest idea is the correct one, or the one that's like, because you shave away all the things that don't apply or something like that. You can look it up. I'm not here to philosophize you. I did take a first year philosophy course, and philosophy was, I never looked at it in high school. I never considered it at any point in my life until I took a first year philosophy course as a bird course for my final year of university. I just loaded up with 7 electives, things that I could just do at home and not really think about. And one of them was philosophy. And it was actually like the readings were enjoyable. And they gave you like, hit you with a like and an Hope you enjoy that. There's going to be some editing in this one. There's going to be some editing. It really makes you think. And writing philosophy papers were cool because you almost couldn't be wrong. I remember if you wrote about the Uberman, I think that's Niche? I hope that's right. Like I said, I don't really remember much from school. Yeah, the Uberman, I think that was Niche. And that was that mankind, if you think of mankind on like a evolutionary scale, we started as beasts, and then we are chained. The rope goes to man in the middle, and then there's a further evolution of man to the Uberman, which is when we will ascend beyond mankind. And it's an interesting philosophy that we are still evolving, and that we're going to get to a point where I don't think the Uberman requires a physical body. I could be wrong, as most things I say. I tend to know like dibble dabbles of information, and then I just fill in the rest confidently with what I think is correct, with no real backing towards any of that information. But the thing I do remember that I wrote most of my paper about was like the Uberman is always laughing because nothing matters to him. He's above everything. And that he realizes that, like, I guess the point of life or whatever. And then I wrote my whole paper on how, like, laughing all the time is not a good thing, because laughing is only enjoyable when it's counter to sadness. And that if you're not feeling sadness, how can you feel happiness? Because happiness has to be, like, contrary to something. And, you know, being happy after a moment of sadness is, like, it makes that happiness more enjoyable. So that's what I was writing about. You don't want to be laughing all the time, because if you're laughing all the time, then you're never really feeling anything, if that's just constant laughter. Yeah, philosophy was cool, and it makes you... I'm not a religious person, but it does make you think. It kind of changed my ideas on religion. I'm not anti-religion. I'm very much in the boat that you can believe whatever you want, because we're never going to know. The creation of all of this we see, the universe and life and everything, I think it's too big of a question for humanity. As much like early on, I definitely believed in the Big Bang Theory. We all exploded from one little tiny speck, a trillionth of a trillionth size of an atom or whatever, and expanded rapidly into what you see today. And I was like, yeah, that totally, I get that. But now I'm like, that's almost as absurd as believing that God or some primordial being, you know, created all of this by himself, and then he just seems to have disappeared and left us to our own devices. My problem with the Big Bang Theory is they're trying to tell us what happened 14 billion years ago with like certainty to them. But we have things like the pyramids, which are physically on our planet. We can go study them, and we don't know how they got there. We don't know how these stones were built. I guess they say they had like elephants dragging them and thousands of slaves, and they're built over thousands of years. And they were wooden chisels from a quarry. All this stuff. I haven't looked too much into it. Like, I watch a couple YouTube videos on it as I get interested in it, then I get disinterested, move to something else. But how can we be so confused by like ancient civilizations on our planet that have remnants that we can study and we don't know? Yet 14 billion years ago, when there was nothing, we're like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I know what happened. I think I got this figured out. It's hogwash. I don't buy it. And I can't fault anyone for having a theory of the creation of the world, but I don't think anyone can say with certainty they know what happened because it was so long ago. We think. The one thing I do stick with the science side is it appears to be replicatable. There are tests that you can run over and over again and you get the same results. Whereas with religion, I guess it's kind of like, and I'm not trying to diss anyone that's religious here. You do you, as long as you just like, you let other people do what they want to do too. You know, let's all just do what we want to do and take care of each other. That's my platform for Prime Minister. You do you, we do we. Let's take care of you and me. Look at that. Here's the commercial right there. But for like religion and stuff though, I mean, first off, none of the stuff in the Bible I feel like has ever been replicated. Turning water into wine, which after listening to some Jordan Peterson stuff, I didn't really know anything about the Bible, but I am thinking like, okay, these were actually, way back when it was written, these were just stories to kind of just define, you know, human nature and human aspects. The way I took turn water into wine is like Jesus could turn something into nothing into something, or almost, you know, take water, which is pretty bland and mundane, into wine, which is special wine. It's cool. You know, it changes the situation, enhances things. I mean, that's where I took it. Walking on water. I'm sure he wasn't actually walking on water. It's like a metaphor for something. So I think all these Bible stories are metaphors for things. What is it? Cain and Abel. Was it Cain and Abel where he was, or are those the brothers? I'm gonna have to look this up. Give me one sec. I'm gonna look this up. Do. Musical interlude. Isaac and Abraham. That's what I'm thinking of. Cain and Abel were brothers. I think one of them killed the other. Isaac and Abraham, though. I think. Oh, now I gotta look. I think Isaac was the baby, and Abraham was the father. And God told Abraham to kill Isaac to prove he's devout to him. And then Abraham was gonna do it, and then an angel came down and was like, "Hey, yo, cut that shit out. Kill this goat instead." And he's like, "No, are you sure? I'll do it. I'll kill the baby." He's like, "No, seriously, dude, you can just kill the goat and we're all good. We're all square." And then he killed the goat. And that was something, I wish I was smarter and I could actually recite what I learned from this Jordan Peterson book. But it was like proving yourself holy to something. I don't know. That entire tangent was supposed to be some really insightful story that I totally forgot the beginning, middle, and end to. So I hope you enjoyed it. But what I was saying is I think a lot of the Bible stories are metaphors for humankind and how you should act. And it somehow has turned into people believing their true stories. I think the good Christians are the people that realize their stories and that you should take the learnings from them and then live a certain way, love thy neighbor. I think that's a great way to use religion. It's a great way to form community and to, believe in something together. It's the bad Christians that are like using the Bible stories to then put down other people and to discriminate people. That's bad. Discrimination is bad, is the story I'm trying to tell you. That's the root of this podcast. But then I feel like science is kind of the same way, in that I'm just listening to, you're taking stories from the Bible or from preachers, people who say they've talked to God and angels who have the voice of God, and then you're taking their word for it if that's what they've found and that's how we should live our lives. And then I'm doing the same thing, listening to scientists who I've never met, whose research I'm never going to read or understand. Then I'm just like, yeah, well, they've got this world figured out, so I'm just going to believe them, take it for granted. This is totally the evolution debate from It's Always Sunny, which, I mean, Mac had some merit in that episode. He was onto something. was the bitch. Science is a liar sometimes. I don't think I can say the B word. This is I think that might be my first curse word, my first cuss on this podcast. I've been pretty good. But it was a quote, so it's not technically me saying it. It was Mac saying it. Yeah, I was actually talking about religion. I did want to talk about the afterlife. Because I had going off of the same thing, you can make up whatever religion you want, really. You can believe whatever you want. This is, you live your life only from your perspective. There's no reason you have to believe what everyone else is believing. You can totally make up your own afterlife because no one knows. We can't yabber to dead people, can't chat with them. Like, hey, what are you seeing? What's going on right now? What's going on in there? There's like near-death experiences, which those are cool things to hear about people. I think a lot of times they feel very happy and blissful when they come back. They talk about like the light and the new world. If you ever do like psychedelics and stuff, I think that like opens your mind to a spiritual world. It definitely opened mind up. It opened my mind up. I like to cut down my sentences so I don't have to say as many words. It opened mind up instead of it opened my mind up. But here's my ideal afterlife. Let me paint you a picture. And it comes from a lifetime of playing video games so far. Maybe it blends into this simulation theory that's been going around. But you die, and then your spirit would awaken. And there's some kind of computer in front of you. And in that computer contains all of the history of humanity and its future and everyone who has lived through it. And now you get to choose. You can replay moments of life through people's perspectives. So you can live life through other people's eyes. The opposite of what we do on planet Earth now. And not only do you get to you can choose through what experiences of their life you want to live through, but then you also get to feel all their full emotion and all their thoughts are in your head, and you feel like you are them, getting to relive through this. So you get to experience life all again through someone else's eyes, whether it's a historical figure or whether, you want to go, imagine you could go on your first date again, except live it through what's the name of, it wouldn't be your girl, your datees. What's it called when you date someone? What are you to each other? what is that? The person you're going on a date with. I don't know what the term is, if there even is one. But imagine, you had a great first date with this person, and then you want to go like live it again through their eyes. And then, that would do so much for you, like for your own spirit, feeling like the love they have for you and getting to like to witness that and to feel that. Or maybe if you're a sports fan, imagine going to live through, like imagine you're a hockey fan. You get to go live through the golden goal again, do it through Sidney Crosby's eyes, get to feel everything, get to see it from his perspective, the absolute, the joy. I bet so many people would just like hop through each player, just reliving that moment on the ice. And any moment that ever like captured your attention, you could go see it, firsthand, a rocket launch or, going to space, go live in, you get to experience going on the moon from Neil Armstrong's eyes. There's like an infinite amount of things I feel like you could do, an infinite amount of lives. I guess not an infinite amount of lives. There's a finite amount of people, unless we do absolutely live forever, which I don't think so. I think humanity's on a bad track. We're going down at some point, just like every civilization does. Yeah, and that's my dream afterlife, is getting to live through life from other people's eyes and finally get to experience what other people are experiencing. Because there's this other like thought I've realized, is that everyone I know, who they are is totally created in my mind. Like, I never actually know what anyone's thinking, what they're going to do, who they are. I only create this, thought of who they are, this figure of them in my mind that I can usually assume, what they're going to think, what they like, what they don't like, based on how they've acted and talked to me in the past. But I'm never actually in someone else's head to know truly who they are. It's just this doll of them I've created in my head. So say, imagine you're with your group of friends. Actually not. You're not with a group of friends. There's three of you. We'll take myself, Martin, and Ethan. We're sitting in a circle. Now imagine Ethan is sitting on one end of the room and Martin and I on the other. And then there's some device that can extract my idea of who Ethan is and put him in physically in this room, and extract this idea of who Martin thinks Ethan is and put him in this room. And both of our experiences are totally based on our experiences with Ethan. So now there would technically be 3 different Ethans in the room, because they're not going to be all the same. Ethan hasn't shared every possible thought he's ever had and every experience with us. So he's going to be the most true one. Then there's going to be like Aaron's Ethan and Martin's Ethan in the same room. And then that still applies. And then it roots back to myself. Every single person has a different idea of who I am. And while they're close and similar, everyone's had different experiences from who I am. And also everyone's own experiences affect how they like judge my experiences on them, if that makes sense. Because it's a math equation, and everyone's a different set of numbers. So it's just all these different X values coming together to produce different Y's. Does that make sense? I've been trying to think about what the best way to collectively, or not collectively, they're not coming. I was gonna say I need to read more, but I've been reading a good amount. My vocabulary just stinks. I've been trying to think of a concise way to say that, and how to like tell people that everyone only exists in your own head, right? As much as everyone does exist physically, we all only know them from our own perspective. I think that's an easier way to say it. We only know people from our own perspective. And that's when you get into, you can take that into your public life and your social life. I try and realize that when people are angry, or, someone does something stupid or out of emotion, I try not to judge them based on that single act. Because I don't know what kind of day they're having. I don't know what kind of life they're having, what kind of week, what's going on for them. And, I judge all my own actions based on my entire thoughts leading up to it. Yet I judge everyone else's actions just on that sole action themselves, which is not really fair. I don't know what's going on in their head or their life. So I try and be cognizant of that, and not to immediately rush to a judgment that, oh, this person is just an asshole. This person just sucks because of this one thing they did to me. This one instance of their life now defines the entire being of who they are. I try and avoid that. And I think you should too, if you're not doing that already. I think that would probably cut down a lot of road rage, I think, if more people thought that way. that, oh, this person cut me off. They must be a real piece of work. This person absolutely sucks. But then every time we cut people off, it's like, oh no, it wasn't my fault. So I had blah, 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 blah. I had to get there. I was in a rush. Being in a rush is not an excuse. You can take the extra 10 seconds to shoulder check. But you know what I'm saying. We don't judge other people fairly enough in the same way that we judge ourselves. Whew. That was pretty good. By the time I edit this, it might be down to 45 minutes. So I gotta just keep going for a few more minutes. But that actually turned out really well. I hope this was something that you guys enjoyed more. I hope the train of thought, I was surprised that we actually got to 50 minutes. I didn't really have to take too long of breaks. I took some time just to catch my breath and look away. But for the most part, that was all just a stream of my thoughts, just jumping from one point to the other. And I do feel more relaxed doing this kind of thing. It flowed much easier than when I'm trying to come down to a certain topic and fill all my ideas into this little time frame, and also reading off like my notes, my jot notes that I normally have on the screen of the points I want to reach. That usually throws me off more, and I feel like I have to kind of rush through things and then try and fit all that in. So this felt more natural to me, more organic, and I hope it comes across in the audio in more. Episode 1 was the most popular episode, and I felt like that was also just me kind of talking off the cuff about myself, and I wanted to try and recreate that. Episode 1 was it got like 60 views, and then episode 2 got 40, episode 3 got 20. So, if we stick to that pattern, we're going to get 0 views on this one. But hopefully this is something that more people enjoy, and it's more of an insight into me and how I think rather than just the specific topics. I think the topics will still come back. I said last week that I was going to do this one on books, which I could still talk about. I actually was going to talk about the last book I'm reading, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which has opened my eyes to some things, and not just some. It has opened my perspective into a better way to think about life. Which if I want to give you the short synopsis of it, it is always now. This moment that we are in right now, this moment you're in, that you're listening to this podcast, we are always in this moment. It just continues. And I know from my own experience, I spend a lot of time thinking about past experiences or imagining future events and just ignoring the right now. And that's he describes it as like finding enlightenment is being able to find now and always be grounded in what's happening right now. Because if you do think about it, it is always now. It's the most true statement you can say. It's never, the past has already happened. You can't go back to it, and the future is undetermined. But what you do right now is what's most important. And if you can find happiness right now, rather than thinking, oh, if I can get here, if I can get this job, I'll be happy. If I can make this much money, I'll be happy. No, be happy right now. If you can contain that, then you'll be happy forever, because it's always now. Which, it's not totally true. Bad things can happen, shocking things can happen, but they'll have less of an impact on you if you realize it's always now. Maybe I'll get into that more in another episode. That was just a teaser. But as for this episode, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to figure out a way that you guys can post comments to this. If you wouldn't mind sending me a Facebook message, and I was thinking I could record video with my webcam, so I could put this on YouTube as well. More so, not so much for having a video aspect. I don't really care about having video combined with this. I know some people like it. I know when I'm watching a podcast, I do like to have the video up, but that's more so when they're pulling up things on the internet and showing videos and stuff. Then it makes sense to have the video. But mine's just gonna be me talking. I haven't worked out playing videos or reacting to things. But I do want to put them on YouTube just to have that comment section there. So it's so much easier for you guys to tell me what's going right, what things you think I should change, rather than this is Spotify. I'm not a fan of it on Spotify, to be honest, just because there's no community aspect in Spotify. It's just you listen to it, and then I see whether you listen to it or not, and that's about all I get from it. So let me know if you would listen to it on YouTube, or even you could download it on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I want. So thank you for listening for 1 month. I'm assuming it's the same 20 viewers that we're getting every week and not a different 20 viewers. So thank you for sticking out every week. I hope this week was more exciting and more enjoyable. We were kind of all over the place, but that's what I like. I want to keep your attention longer, and I don't want you to like look at the topic and think, oh, that's not for me, and I'm not going to listen to it. I feel like that's what was happening for the other ones. People don't want to listen to me talk about therapy or listen to me talk about booze. So hopefully this one's more freeform and entices more people to listen and share your thoughts. We'll be back next week for another great episode. Hopefully like this again. Freeform. Just yabbering away. Just talking with Aaron Brocking. Thank you. And enjoy this beautiful outro that Ethan has put together. Take it easy, folks.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.